In this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we are getting the Mad 180 started. Yes, we're actually gonna get it started.
It's a very, very exciting day. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
Have you yet managed to nab yourself one of our signed, limited time only, 180SX posters?
Gone.
We will autograph it and send it to your house.
Anywhere.
Once the build is done, they are done. Available strictly for a limited time.
Once
they're gone, they are gone forever. Let's run the graphics and then continue into this mad build. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. Very, very excited to finally get the car started. It is going to be happening this episode. We got some rear end conversion, we got some body kit stuff. There's painting going on, Martin.
Even painting. This is a fun part where this car gets turned from like a nice street car to something that just looks bellissimo.
Absolutely.
Completely bellissimo. I'm just frothing.
Martin, we got the fluids to do.
Yep.
Dave from Haltech's coming
fluids,
to visit.
Frothy Haltech.
We got Trung visiting.
Frothy Trung.
Well, the car will visit him.
What a legend.
It's going to be awesome. Let's just dive right into it and get the key
Froth.
We are just about ready to start and run this thing, but first we're going to make sure it's got all the necessary fluids, like some Castrol Edge oil and some coolant. The best way for an aftermarket ECU like our Haltech Elite to get feedback is to install a wideband oxygen sensor. Sometimes they can be fitted in the same location as the factory narrowband one, but in this case we're going to weld on a threaded bung that the sensor can screw into, and then connect it all into the wideband controller and then into the ECU itself. Finally, while priming the fuel pump, we're going to set our adjustable fuel pressure regulator to around 40 psi, load up our tuning software and give it a gutful of crushed up dinosaurs.
All right, after all this time, it's finally at the stage where we've got to turn the key. Dave, the absolute legend, is here to help us. He was just telling us about how he got stung by a jellyfish. That sounds shit.
Sounds so not fun.
Sounds so shit.
This will be so much less painful. Well, it's a Nissan, so you never know.
It'll probably be just as painful and just as smelly.
All our mods are in place. The intake pipe is done. We recycled an old bit from an old Subaru on that. The wideband sensor is in as well. We also made one little change where we ran the map sensor. We were going to have a big 2 meter long pipe that goes to the ECU, but actually it's just neater to put a map sensor here and then run 2 meters of wiring because apparently electricity moves faster than air. I don't know if that's true. It sounds like it is. It sounds smart. I'm going to say it is. So we haven't started it yet. We've primed it. It's got fuel. We drained all the old crappy fuel out and we put new fuel in. And now it's the moment of truth. Don't know if it's going to work. No idea.
I'm turning the key, everybody. Here we go.
Nah, that's a big NO from Dave.
So one of the things that complicates a nice, simple, easy starting procedure is this car has this, I understand why it's in there. It's got this kind of hidden kill switch, but it's this kind of momentary button that's hidden under there. So you never really know where, because I can turn it like this and all the reds and stuff come on. Like it looks like it's primed, but there's no fuel pump priming until, if you listen now.
And the fuel pump relay clicks, but the pump doesn't go.
Well,
so
no,
it's like after the relay, which is also not great.
I'm going to hold that.
There it goes.
There it goes.
I can hear it.
Because I'm holding this stupid button.
Which means it doesn't prime, which means it's going to take longer to start. Anyway, we'll work that out.
Here we go.
Try again. Ooh, it wants to go.
It's going to go.
Is it going to go?
It's going to go.
No. Oh, dude, it's going to go.
So close.
That needs a bracket badly.
It's another prime. This is it, people. If it doesn't start now, I'm giving everybody a discount on the shop. And if it does start, they're not getting anything. Does that make sense?
No, not really. Just do it anyway. Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
The discount is 180SX. And you'll get 10% off Super Garage t-shirts. Well done, I already said that. You need something else. It's 180 Nugget is the discount.
Sure.
Cranking backwards on itself.
Sounds really bad.
Not in the sex move way.
So what has happened is, this is an aftermarket loom to run our Audi R8 Lamborghini coils, Golf Polo Jetta coils. Anyway, and It plugs in, but there was question marks as to whether it's the exact right one for our particular version of S13, SR20, blacktop, blah, blah. So there's a possibility it's just not exactly in the right configuration. Luckily, this is easy to fix because they just need power and earth, which they've got all of them, and then there's just 4 different signal wires. The easiest way to fix it is just to repin it down at the actual Haltech plug. Just go, if this one is supposed to be cylinder 1 and it's 2, you just swap them over, beep it out, make sure it's right, plug it back in and crank it again.
Hey Martin, are you trying to tell me that the configuration of an Audi R8 supercar is different to this 180SX?
I'm trying to say this 180SX is better.
Yeah.
Which I know is what you're getting
Audi R8's got it wrong.
Yeah.
Dave knows.
Next.
He knows.
All right, that is cylinder 4. Okay, it was very backwards, people.
With Dave's help, we're going to repin some of these plugs and then we can attempt to start the car again, hopefully with everything wired up exactly as it should be.
It wants to go.
It's about to go.
Your kill switch, I think, is doing stupid shit again because it did run out of fuel. Now it's on again.
Good job, Martin. Good job, David. Thank you very much.
The car starts after years of sitting in storage and running like absolute arse when it did work, and I am so excited that it finally has pure Nissan power running through its veins again, and I have pure Nissan power running through my veins again too.
It has been a big journey getting it to this place, but the journey is not over. We're not even near the tip
No.
of the mountain.
No.
Are we, Martin?
No. Not near the tip of the tunnel.
It's screaming, making weird noises.
Yep.
It's leaking oil. It's leaking other stuff. I don't even know what else it's leaking down there, but there's colours of liquid that I don't even remember putting in the car. So there's a couple of little things to do.
There's an empty power steering reservoir for some
starts.
reason. There's an oil leak, but I'm pretty sure it's a turbo return because it looked a bit dodgy, but we'll get under there and have a look. But yeah, it starts, which is awesome, so it can move to its next stage.
Yes.
What is that stage?
Oh, you're
What's
about
the
to find
stage?
out, people. You are about to be flipping over backwards, naked, like a squirrel with nuts in the middle of hibernation and your spare room's full of food. You invite all your friends over, next thing you know, menage a nut.
I can't
squirrel.
even imagine
It's gonna be
what it's
amazing.
like to be inside your brain. S13, Nissan SR20, sounds like poo, is awesome.
You actually appear to be loving it even more than me, if such a thing is possible.
I love this. This is my favourite thing to do to cars, like make this all new and modern and nice and work and like R8 calls, dude. You got an Audi now, basically.
I've already got one.
Oh yeah, true.
Next big step for this build, which we are just ridiculously frothing for, is paint. Our mate Trung from Powderhouse agreed to make this thing look as good as the day it rolled off the production line. Maybe even better, because we're using some properly mad quality materials to make this thing look epic. Step 1 is to spray a guide coat and then strip off the stuff we aren't keeping, then block the car back to try and find any damage that might be hiding under its 30-year-old paintwork. Turns out there are a few bits that need a new section of metal welded in, mostly on the boot, and we're doing the second lot of indicator holes while we're at it.
I mean in large amounts, my daughter gotta eat too. And I'm
Overall, the panels are pretty straight and only a few spot repairs are required before the car can be put into primer. We're also doing a new rear bumper bar, which, unlike the rest of the car, is fiberglass, so making this thing fit is challenging. With the new parts fitted and the repairs done, it's time to roll the car into the booth and hit it with some primer.
life moves so fast in a flash, you see. Everybody getting left behind.
After the primer's completely dry, Trung can block the car back and make sure it's straight, ready to get its first base coat.
Faster. Speed it up. Faster. Speed it up. Faster. Speed it up. Wasn't it just yesterday when we were young and carefree? Not a damn thing in this world could ever scare me. We never had it.
It's then masked up, and then after warming up the paint, the base coat can be sprayed on. The colour is an exact match to the original factory white, it just looks way newer because it hasn't sat in the sun fading for 30 years.
Essence of a free land, but we ain't free, man. Ain't nothing in this world free. Look around, the vision is all I.
Although we've shown this transformation in less than 5 minutes, there is hundreds of hours of labour in a respray like this, not to mention the skills you need to get good at it in the first place. So if you find a good painter, make sure you shout them their fair share of kebabs for turning your old nugget into gold.
It looks amazing.
Trung has
Really
done
does.
such a good job.
He did.
Finally, the car has had some of the love that it deserved. I decided to go the top deck, which means we are black up the top, white everywhere else. Because the car had a sunroof and that's black anyway, it just looked nice blacking that off. I seem to do that with a lot of my cars. Black mirror caps. Martin, what do you think?
It's so glassy. He's done an amazing job on this car. The amount of effort that he puts in is unreal. And this is not intended to be show car finish. It didn't take 6 months to a year or longer, which a lot of repaints do. He just smashed it out in a matter of weeks, which is absolutely awesome. And it is glass. It's just so good. He's done all the effort to do the prep, to put the base down, to clear it, to do all that stuff, and then also to buff it back. So it's just like, it looks amazing, really, in the flesh. I'm just so impressed with it. Yeah, black turret, which is really good. A few little details that we're going to sort of fix up, and it's actually got...
This is black too.
You can see some white residue, but that's actually the polish, so it's a bit deceiving. But yeah, needs things like wiper blades. The inside needs the panel stuck back on. The paint is still gassing off and still drying. That's why it's still in pieces. But we're going to unpack the big box that he sent us with all the other painted stuff in it so we can work out what needs to happen next.
So one of the things that I really wanted to do with this 180 and with my previous 180s was to give it a Type X conversion. So we've got the Type X wing, we've got the rear lights, which cost millions of dollars, and a Type X front bar as well. We've got the side skirts, those are in here. I've got some seats, I got some wheels, I got some tires, some interior bits, some kind of high touch things like the knob that's on the gear shifter and stuff like that, a new Nismo one of them, which is fancy. And then the piece de resistance, I have an old logo Nismo oil cap worth thousands of dollars that's going to go on. That's going to go on last, and that's when we know the project is done. So let's dive into this box, and you and I will see at the same time exactly what we've got. Oh, this is so exciting. There's the Type X wing!
Awesome, look at
Oh, look at it.
it. Mad.
Look at that. It's so good. I know that we're not assembling right now, but I just do want to
We need to see it.
sit this like that. It's going to look like that, Martin. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, that looks rad.
Oh, amazing. All right, let's keep unpacking this amazing package of awesomeness.
So when you paint a car, what you'll notice is a lot of the time, everything's sort of usually covered in a fine layer of dust because all paint shops, all panel shops end up dusty because so much sanding's going on. So even so, some of these panels might look a bit grubby. Let's a good example, like over here. Because this is 2-pack paint that has been cured, that is like totally fine and good to go. Everything will just need a bit of a clean up when we put it on the car. Most important is we don't scratch it. So I say that while holding a knife right near it, but is that one side skirt there?
That is a side skirt.
Awesome.
That is a OEM Nissan plastic side skirt. So
Rad.
that's not an eBay fiberglass situation. That is that's a proper aftermarket Nissan jobby, which is amazing.
We will fit everything. We'll get all the right adhesives and stuff to fit it all properly because there's different glues and stuff that you need for different areas of the car depending what you're doing, whether it's a side skirt or a tail light or whatever. And then we'll start to fit this stuff up. And then once it's all fitted up, we give the car a proper detail, get all the dust and dirt and all the stuff on it, make sure everything's attached properly. And then the car will be looking freaking amazing.
This is my Type X front bar that I imported from the States.
Just don't want to lose track of this either.
Oh, look at it!
It'll look excellent.
Look at it! Oh, I am so pumped for this. Oh, it's coming out, people. Can you just lift the whole thing up? And then I'm just going to debag it. Oh, look at it. Hasn't been crashed into anything. It's just new. Not yet. Hey. Hey. All right. I've got it.
Oh, yeah, man. Nice.
Oh, look at that, everybody. Just so new, so white. I'm not actually going to put it on, but just have a look at this for a second. Just have a look at the kind of situation that's going to be happening over here, people. Just start to Oh!
Yeah, man.
Yes!
Oh, that's so
Listen
cool.
to how my voice is! It's so
So good.
Oh, God.
Freshly painted
It's
cars,
so good.
man.
It is so good. I'm sorry if I'm acting weird. It's just because I'm excited. Hashtag not
and then
sorry.
in there's just the original rear bar and then the bit for under the bonnet. It also,
nice.
on the bonnet has this cool like liner stuff as well. Keep noise down and whatever, and then you put the black thing back under there. We've also got the brackets for arrived. So in the time while the car's at paint, a few parts that got held up have arrived, including...
What was that, Martin?
Nothing. Nothing fell on the ground. Don't worry about it. Tron gave us touch-up paint because I always end up scratching cars. We've also got from 50 Ignite, which is our bracket to run our VW, Audi, Lamborghini Polo coils, and some adapters for that too, and also a triggering system and a photo, which looks like it's from ages ago. This is from Purity Box, man. Purity Box.
No, that one's actually going in the bin.
Okay, good. This is from the 2010 Perth Auto Salon, 25th of July 2010. From Kev. Hashtag does it fit my Honda. What a legend. That's
What,
awesome.
so we met him 12 years
With
ago?
me and him. Yeah, 12 years ago. At
Wow.
Auto Salon, and now he runs this, which is pretty cool. So we've got our, can you please hold that? We've got our bracketry, which is awesome. And we've also got, I think this is a trigger kit. Yeah, so this trigger kit takes the old school crank angle or cam angle sensor out of the equation with that, which is pretty epic. So that's just a bolt-in, nice bolt-in thing. And that will work with the Haltech as well. And trigger everything without any issues.
It's time to get the car up in the air so we can start putting it all back together. This is the part of the project where I cross my fingers and hope that all the parts I bought in advance are correct, because it took so long to ship everything to Australia. I'm starting on the rear end kooky conversion, also known as a Type X conversion, which includes rear lights and the centre garnish. This drastically updates the look of the car and brings it in line with exactly what I'm going for.
So this here is the coveted centre garnish that makes the Type X conversion work with the shape of these new lights. One thing that I forgot to do though is get the Type X lock. You can see how much fatter this is, and now there's a big gap between here and this lock mechanism here. So to get one of these that suits a Type X from Japan is probably a 2-month wait. I have managed to find one on eBay that doesn't have a key, but it is the right length, so at least it's going to look right. So I'm going to keep assembling this for now. That should arrive in the next day or so, and then I can change that lock component out. And then maybe I can make the key work with it. Maybe I'll get another one later, but for now, it just means that we can keep assembling without it looking too bad, because with that big hole, it's not great.
It's time to get the Type X conversion done so we can move on with the build. All that's left to do is some minor wiring changes, but I am so stoked with how good this looks. Next up, the festy 30-year-old floor mats can go in the bin because they literally smell like bong smoke and sweat.
I'm attempting to straighten out the lower sill as 30 years of driving on and off hoists and being jacked up at drift meets has bent them out of shape. The factory side skirts bolt to the sills and are screwed in from both the top and at either end. Next, I'm going to grind off all the old crusty adhesive and use some nice fresh double-sided tape to make sure they stick flush with the rest of the body. These skirts were hard to find, they weren't cheap, and due to their age are a little bit brittle, so some drift stitching will be required to prevent them from falling apart any further.
So the side skirts are on. Now they are an OEM part, so they fit really nice. They are also second-hand, so I had to spend a bit of time grinding off old glue and putting new fasteners and stuff in, but overall I'm really happy with how they turned out. Now we've got to move on to the front.
The rear end looks amazing, by the way. That Type X conversion just always looks so good on 180s. It's amazing. Again, the fitment is not like perfect like you'd expect from a brand new car when people are kind of 3D scanning and CNC, you know, making parts for things, but it does fit, it does work. The front bar is now going to be the true test. There are a bunch of different brackets and little JDM things that say Nissan on them that are meant to attach somewhere, and we haven't worked that out yet.
Factory though, right?
Factory.
Yeah, Nissan parts. So
Nissan
I'm assuming it'll be better, but there might be some things in the way. We've also got our front mount, of course, which, yeah, I can now come off, which is cool.
Ready to reveal in all of its glory.
Protected it. It is also leaking something. We haven't worked out what. I think it's power steering fluid, but we've got to fix that. We're just going to sort of get all the panels back on so they're safe. And, yeah, should be a winner.
Look how good it looks though, people. Look at that.
That's rad.
It's almost like it calls for a little...
Really nice spread of intonation on that one, isn't it?
Beautiful. It's got quite a wide range compared to some.
Yeah, it's very brilliant sounding.
All right,
Cool.
Let's just do a quick little test fit of this front bar and see if it's going to work or whether our day's not going to be that good. You know how earlier on I was saying that I didn't have the correct cylinder lock for the back because the Type X bar actually sits a little bit further out? I ordered one online, and this box here that says cylinder lock on it, I'm pretty sure is going to be, yes, that's exactly what I need. All right, I'm going to take that back off and install this. So when I ordered this conversion kit to convert this one into a Type X, I did manage to get most of the right parts I need. So these brackets here, the front bumper support, but what I didn't get was the Type X pods that go here. So these are the ones that came on the car, and you can see these would normally sit like this and connect to the bumper. The Type X ones are different because you can see that it's kind of fat. It kind of comes out here. So getting those is there are a couple of options, but I want to keep that OEM. I have managed to find some. So I've managed to find a left and a right. They are going to need to be painted, but they are genuine and they're brand new Nissan items. So they are coming. The other thing that I forgot to get is the emblem for the front bumper. If you have a look over here, that is completely bald at the moment, but I've managed to get a Type X emblem, so that is coming as well. So that stuff is still going to be how long? I don't know. They're crazy times at the moment, but we do need to be able to move the car around. I found some wheels on the internet that do fit. I'm not sure what's going to stay on there long term, but we can get the car rolling around, and then once we've got a few other little things fixed, then we can move into the interior. But for now, we're waiting on parts, and we're going to put some wheels on.
The Volkswagen, Audi, Lambo cores I've used fit the spark plug tubes just fine, but a bracket is a good idea to stop them moving around. It's a mad CNC item with locking collars and bolts into the factory rocker cover, which I now need to remove to do a cam angle sensor upgrade. The factory cam angle sensor connects via a cog system onto the exhaust camshaft to detect how fast it's spinning in relation to the crank. This allows Nissan to do full sequential fuel and spark with the ECU. That saves a little fuel and also feels nice and smooth and modern to drive. It's a common mod for reliability on Nissans to upgrade this to a non-contact sensor, and that is achieved by installing a tone wheel in place of the factory cog and installing a new sensor into the side of the head. One major part of this mod is that you're replacing a 30-year-old part exposed to decades of heat cycles in a hot part of the engine with a brand new part. This will only work with aftermarket ECUs, and the benefit is a more accurate trigger signal which can help with tuning. With our new trigger system in place, we can clean up the mating surface of the rocker cover and stick it back onto the engine, and then everything can be left to dry.
We've got so much done, but there's still so much more to do as the build of the 180SX continues next time on Mighty Car Mods.